Not very pleasant in here tonight. It's a little bit cool. I got a little doctor interview of my van. We're testing the internet, everybody. I got a Wi-Fi hotspot and we're going to try it to see. Seems like it's the only thing that is going to work in here. We're doing chain link. For a chandelier project for the neighbor across the street. At Art Sand and Steel. You haven't seen this little monster that I made. This is a handy little thing. So this is, of course, my little bandsaw, and I've got a sewing machine foot switch on it. "14 feet of chain I've got to do. So I got to do, each chain link is going to be about, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches long. So I'm going to need a whole 20-foot stick of this. And then some. How's the connection, everybody? Is it coming in clear finally? It is 8 o'clock at night and I'm still in here toiling away. Can't seem to get ahead of this around here. This is the dirtiest steel I have ever come across. Look at my hands. They coat this with oil. This must come from China. Coat it with oil before they ship it. It's the most filthy stuff. Generally run a little I generally run a little mineral spirits over it before I go with it. So I didn't count those up, but I know that it's going to require a hell of a lot more than that of these to do this trick. How's the connection? Let me know, would you? these little projects like this, I just use this little single burner. A little glare from the fluorescent lights. Audio is fine. Great. Good. I would do more of these live streams and live demos if I knew that the internet connection was better. I get such glitchy internet in here that fairly questionable. So now what I got to do is decide what kind of chain links I'm doing. Oh, you're in New York. Let's see. It's sunsets north. It's late there. It's fairly late here. So I'm trying to decide what kind of a chain length I'm going to do. I got to do 14 feet of it. This is some kind of prototypes that I came up with. I've got a couple of different jigs I can use, and I'll show them to you here in just a second. I got a couple of different choices. This is a fairly easy one. This is just some iron that I welded some 1/2-inch square stock to, and then I put a socket over the top of it. And then we just clamp those in a vise. This might take just a little fiddling to do this. I've never been to New York. I know that there's a lot more to New York than just New York. New York City, I mean. This forge gets a little heated up, then you go pretty good. By using a jig like this, I can adjust the size of the rings that I'm doing. Sometimes I don't even need that. I'm going to try it. All that. I'm going to use a little little small with the hammer. Okay. Messing with this little 1/4-inch round stock, you got to kind of make up your own tongs. I'm going to draw a little tip out on that. Try this pair, they might fit a little better. Another pair I made. Did those for a TikTok live years ago. When you're doing a little taper like that, you want to do them square first and then round them up. You don't want to let that get too cold before you quit hitting on it, or else you'll split the end of it out. This will go a lot easier after everything gets warmed up. Get a little projection rolling through. think that'll work until I get this figured out exactly. It's kind of a testing. There are certain processes I know I'm going to have to do, but I don't know exactly what angle I need here on the tips of these. So we're going to experiment a little. Once I get a little heat built up in the anvil, this will go a lot quicker. Kind of taking the hammer marks out lightly, planching blows. Something like that. Probably end up using that little tool. So this is just an old wrench that I modified. See how I rounded up the jaws of it? That keeps you from putting marks in your work when you bend stuff with it. Maybe I can move this someplace where you can see a little better what I'm doing. Here. Well, it's going to get a little interesting for a minute until we figure out what we're doing. Try to do something like this. And I need 14 feet of it at least. So cut those into 10-inch pieces. We knock the corners down. Makes it 8-sided. And as that cools down, I use light planching blows. Try to take the hammer marks out. That's what I'm doing there. Now these are going to have to be bent backwards, so this one will be this way, and then I'll bend this up, this one this other way once I get it where I lay it. I swore I wasn't going to do any more of this custom work until I got caught up, but Brady and I do so much work together that I can't really say no. It's kind of one of those deals where if his business succeeds, then mine succeeds too. Because we do different things, but it's just enough alike. Kind of work well together with each other's work. Okay. So there we go. Now that that's the inside of that forge is hotter, it's the hot spot is a little bigger, so I can heat up a little more of the stock than just the end and try to get a bend on that. A couple of these forged up. You can always tell the metal worker because the front of their sweatshirts are all burned up, grinding and welding. How's that connection? Is it good? Does it seem like it's not sputtering out or buffering or anything? Okay. So this is a first since I did the other one. So we'll go over here and you can see this little tool. See how this works. I don't know if it's going to work or not. We're going to try it. I like it. We're going to have to feed just a little bit more in. We can always fiddle around with the ends later. I think I need to just feed a little bit more of the material back. Just hold back a little more on the material like that. There, now we're talking. That might work. I like that. Might get a little bigger socket. Try that. See if that's better. Scrolling tone. That might be a little better. Don't know that I need that great big long socket on there. Let's see if I can find a short. It's not the size of the socket, it's the diameter of the socket. These cheap Harbor Freight sockets, it doesn't really matter. I'll never get them hot enough to take the temper out of them. Got to get them pretty hot. Always a little bit of adjustment that has to go on until you get it set just right. See, I got that in a little more. Now we're getting there. I'm liking that. I got this little twist a little more than this one. I'll put that back in here and I'll heat it up a little. Push it back out. So this is a lesson in building tooling and building tooling that you can use for a lot of different stuff. This tool started out as this tool. But the thing about this tool is you can only really do one size bend on there unless you're feeding that bend through there and bending it at a different place. If you want them really all the same, you need to have a way of adjusting that like that. And then this tool was the second form of this tool. This tool goes in the hardy hole on the anvil, and then this just is a little screw, and it just tightens up against the side of the anvil. So this is another, this was the original bending tool that I used for years and years, especially when I'm demonstrating. I'll take this one and use it. Take the scrolling tong. And that's all right. You put that in 14 feet of chain and you won't be able to tell there's just a little difference in that. It's not that big of a deal. So there's 3 lace studs. Okay, that's going to work. Yeah, I like it. Won't take long to do. There you go. All right, cool. Internet's working. Doing a bunch of blacksmithing here. Everything's heating up. Knock the corners down. Now I got 8 sides. Now I'll just roll this. Get that taper. Something like that. Generally, I wouldn't have it this bright in this shop. I would have it darker, but it's easier for you guys to see it. Get it pretty close. So I'm making chain. I'm making custom chain for a couple of chandeliers that my neighbor across the street at Art Sand and Steel. He specializes in Molesworth style furniture, and he's doing some chandeliers. And he is a exceptional welder and machinist. No, not machinist, exceptional welder and fabricator, but he doesn't do blacksmith work. And of course, I do a little fabricating, but mostly what I do is blacksmith work. And so what we're doing is I'm making a bunch of this chain up for him to hang his chandeliers with. So because my camera is so finely tuned here, I'm having to move it around a little bit. So I've cut a bunch of this 1/4-inch round stock into 10-inch pieces. We're going to see, I cut a 20-foot piece into 10-inch pieces. We're going to see how much chain we get out. I don't do a ton of custom stuff anymore. I've got an Etsy store online. So that end's fairly done. So I should be able to kick these out in a couple hours. A lot of this is very, very specialized work. There isn't many people around who do it anymore. If you're curious about what I'm doing, you can subscribe and watch and kind of see. One of my main things I do is this is one of my big sellers. These are a boot jack. These are made for pulling your boots off, like your muck boots or your cowboy boots. That's one of the things I sell. Can't show you the whole thing because YouTube hates this. But I also do custom of all different kinds. I don't really specialize in knives, but I do some knives. Somebody said, "Oh, you don't swing that hammer 3,000 times a day." Yeah, I do. I sure do swing this hammer. A couple 3,000 times a day. Get a few of these made up. Move the camera again. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. My name is not Cody. I'm in Cody, Wyoming, which is the east entrance to Yellowstone National Park. The hardest thing about this blacksmithing, one of the hardest things that I try to teach people, is tone control, learning how to manage the set tone. Do one more and then we'll move the camera. Got another 4 or 5 of them there. So we'll move the camera over here like this, so you can see the bender. Sometimes the simplest tooling is the very best tool. So this is 36 or 37 years I've been blacksmithing. I really started doing welded art and stuff back in '88, but I went to farrier school in 1990 and '94, and that's where I really started blacksmithing for real. So it's been 30 years that I've been a professional blacksmith. Fair. They're not all perfect, but every one of them was hand done, so that's what you get. I'll do a few extras, the ones that don't quite fit in. That's okay. There's our chain links. First bend is always the easiest. I don't know why that is. Maybe because I have to work around. I got to work around the first end to do the second end. You got to admit, there's something pretty sexy about that. I'll probably have 3 hours or something into this chain, into this 12-foot chain. So fairly expensive chain by the time I get done making it. See, I got him a little wonky, so I'll have to put him back in and heat him up. Same thing with that one. I got him 90 degrees. I'll have to straighten him out. Something like that. That was the wonky one where I got one quite a bit bigger than the other. Once in a while, they get away from you. That's why you can't do woodworking in your blacksmithing shop. You got to be pretty careful about it. Not bad. Well, we got a couple of 4 feet made up. I find that the apron just is hotter, just gets me hotter. I have an apron if I'm doing a lot of grinding or if I'm doing really heavy stuff or forge welding. I do have an apron I wear, but I find that most of the time the apron just gets in the way, and that's why I wear these cheap $20 Jesus jackets. Okay, back to blacksmithing. My forge is almost too hot now, so I'm going to go see if I can't turn it down a little. There, that's better. You know, it's 22 degrees outside. It'll be a It'll be 100 degrees in the shop by the time I get done tonight. Part of the reason I do this in the evening is because it warms up the shop and then it doesn't get so cold at night. All right, we'll start hooking a little of this chain together here. We'll use these ones as joining links. That's how you make chain is make some links up. See, I didn't have that one heated up far enough down the shank, and so it bent wonky. That's where having a dark blacksmith shop helps. It's a lot easier to see the color of your work when it's darker. Not lit up like a television studio. If you like content, before you leave, subscribe, would you? Maybe go watch some of my other videos. That would do me a great favor. If you like the content, like what I'm doing, subscribe. Doesn't cost nothing. And then you get to see the new content that I produce. I put out a pretty cool video, a short video tonight for New Year's. I did Blacksmith New Year's fireworks tonight on my short video that I posted. that tip up, don't you? Yes, there. Something like that. After you do 1,000 of them, you get pretty good at freehanding the stuff. I've done thousands of this kind of stuff without ever using a jig. If everything gets hot, it gets a lot easier. All right. Well, I'm going to keep on keeping on here. Got about 5 feet done. Only another 10 feet to go. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Maybe go watch some of my other stuff. If you really want to see what I do, you can trip over to my Etsy store and look at some of the stuff I build. And there's a link in the bio of my channel. Or you can just Google Cody Iron Works and it'll come up. Everybody have a great evening. If I don't see you before New Year's, have a happy and prosperous New Year. Get a hot and hit it. Always wear your safety squints. Thanks, everybody.